This is een punto, soms realiseer, met die jaren. Ja, daarom moet je doen. Mensen, mensen, relax. We kunnen allemaal samen zingen, we kunnen samen praten. Mensen, dankjewel. Baby, we zijn hier gekomen. U zegt, u wil luisteren naar ons. We hebben alle punten gezet in de krant. En als u zei dat u graag op zo'n functie. Ik de man dat de man je alles maakt. Ik werkelijk weer mee. Ik heb vanaf begin, vanaf de eerste dag, aan de kant dat ik vrouw gepres. Aan de kant dat u graag op alle functies is aan. Aan de kant, ik wil een soort dat ik meen naar mijn ogen. Ik ga aan de man, ik zakken de man dat. Dan zit ik op de serieus. En wat kan dat zo'n money voeren? En het de man we op het parlement, no was man op sabi. En dan gaat zo makkelijk ermee om. En zo zeggen sabaku, wat kan er pistool dat? Moreel ethisch aan de kant, alle heb je niet in voeren. En nou de man denkt dat na pas van moest doen. Maar nog kan dat je brada op zo'n functie en hoe nou opnieuw politiek zijn, is dat niet toch? Oké, natuurlijk, met Argina volk. Ik heb volk dat je Leo Brunswijk heeft de veel functie, dat vanaf Tamara wordt komen functie van de functie vanaf Tamara, we beginnen puro, laten we zien, met de functie en de familie dat mij een functie. Respect daarvoor. Suriname, Suriname. Tidak terperindah dengan tuan batu. Suriname. Tidak terperindah dengan tuan batu. Okay. Tete konja. Tete ataki. Tete konja. Arkino. Suriname. Mayroon jasa, ni offload, mayroon na pas punas takar. Sa uwani. De Suriname. Fepek Nadja. Tenangano. If you look up, begin maf kondre. Dan dia president de ori even kies kampanye. Amako huis aan huis. Dugwa kabinet president. At napu apot bigi sudati gono ano kadoro. When you kan tak sayo wani. Ano slang was slang. Ma fepek o yara. Mar. U abiyete wasani. Kosugo dolo nanga sa uwani. Ni watay di vrijpay taki vrijpay. Uno veiligheid, de in gevaar. De trekker voor Asandisi, onveiligheid, de in gevaar. En ondanks afgelok het tak pura stekker. VP wat doen een beroep naar tapu. Uno mag tete. En wie sa volk e bar pura stekker. Misabi, jullie maar van volk. Toch? Je komt er wel fukade. Wie is er mijn bar pura stekker?
Una trobi na ngati. Wo abi was teke for was say. Mara talk for big bataki. Temi bus big bataki. Mi wa yere baka. Kane Filipino yere tuto. Mi wa yere baka. Sauani. Sauani.
Relax. Pepe, thank you dat u bent gekomen. Ik blijf het zeggen. Want hoe dan ook, soms mag je toch in positief minder en respect daarvoor. Maar, het is een vraag. If you bent zo biggie, voor puri brada binnen one day. Maar wat kan nou maar lezen today?
Luister nou, je tak over mi brada. En ik ben blij. Today man dat hem komen met agere, meer tak euro. De konja protest actie konja. De mala put shoot dat hem tak nee. Mine pot no shoot dat hij. A volk abel leti voor de one vreedzam betoog. En dan one arki. Ja, mi tak nee, u kataba pot. De man komen mine one no one maar voor gewoon toerman. Ik heb de politie ook gevraagd, blijven jullie achter. Unaf de mic broken zijn hier natuurlijk. Maar als de man is vreedzaam, dan moeten we ook vreedzaam blijven. Met hoe grand time van is dat hij een protest go vreedzaam en ook naar ogri. Ja? Una volk. Ja? Precies de fout dat hij een pura stekker, toch? Maar met de gaan we te takeren. Met de hoor op die patiëntie. Nee, even. Minagba. Minaglegwe. Pepe, Eva. Pepe. Uwasabi. Uwasabi Pepe. Sai de mek ikaru op chi groep gona inse. Want baka di de mak moto na inse. Chugu konja. Nilei. Dus nou we die PP gelegenheid voor Pikita bij actie dat hij. En dan gaan we de vorige president bedanken voor het feit dat hij dit jaar. Ja, dus, nee, was aan het in ieder geval, die komt meteen, wat is maar met de bakasseekbaan. Die tijd dat je veiligheid, maar laat die mensen buiten staan. Ja, als we maar geen protest, dan gaan we naar protest. Dan kom in. Natuurlijk heb je pro-Brunswijk, dat anti-verstaan, maar min wasan dat takke we kon jugu. En hier we wasan over veiligheid, dat mijn regeling, we was voor alle man van denk takke de wanko doen wasan volk. Als we doen acceptering, alle man de veilig in de conditie. Maar voor die veilig daar met mogen kon ja. En no man sam e potenje in de takke, je go fuck was maar op. Of die zou mama voor takke de regeling also. Wat enough for the next, no man do next van you. Ja, enough for the. Niemand kan iets kunnen doen. Ja, de volgende we zijn Surinamers. En we zijn naar Kono, die naar Kono jou geboren en naar Kono naar Kono. En veilig heeft no was man af voor de gewaren kunnen. Ja, met karanderi dat je veiligheid dat garandeert. Dus dat je enough for the. Oké mensen, hoe jullie VP? Arkino, dat we Sribija te abasluit teki. Unegwe, dat we Sribi te abasluit teki. Sa pala kusana wani, sa uwani. Eva, VP, nu een actie van persoonlijke vraag. Arki, VP, nu een actie van persoonlijke vraag. VP, you Friday, tak you no come back. You Friday, you can Friday, tak you no come back. Ah, iedereen zal samen de actie naar pura stekker.
VP, ik ben heel blij dat u heeft gezegd dat ik dat je pura brada. Maar une stop telekasap zou werkelijk. Want ono ma brief ala sa sa taki na alle respecti. Mino ma brief ala woord to sa taki. Dus zolang une shi, tak de salem sa sa beloof uno. We tango doro gewoon. Dat ik kan sabi. And what about water overlast brokopondo? Even met de gide bus congressman. Maar dat is maar de pinamorelijk alamang. Voor gaan we pistoor dat.
Arkino mensen, wat wil microfoon? Een microfoon aan of uno. Oan stel, wat is mijn aangelegenheid? Moet hij de PP was aan maar we houden het netjes. Prisma, was maar ja, was maar dappe.
Nee. VP, als verpleegkundigen hier namens de mensen op de COVID-afdelingen hebben gewerkt. Onze geld van januari tot maart hebben we nog niet. Ik kom met de COVID rond, ik heb die geld. Waarom krijgen we het nog niet? En onze looncorrectie. En onze verzekering. Een goede verzekering. Maar Allah. We zijn er jullie. VP, ik heb wel een verzoek. Als u naar me gezegd kijkt, dan weet u van waar ik u ken. Is er niet op een bedrijf? Een economie, het dwingt dit niet op en tamara. En dat nou lukt. Dat nou lukt, VP. VP, ik sta hier voor Wilma, mijn lobby. Wilma Asenti, nou wat maar een weinig vrouw. Een vrouw uit Negipching. Ze is uit het huis gezet omdat het perceel verkocht is. Ik heb gevraagd via mensen van de minister. VP, ik heb gevraagd aan de minister van GBB om deze vrouw te helpen met 400 vierkante meter. Ze wil haar huis zelf bouwen. Wilma van Worwijnen, je hebt een vrouw.
VP, mina voorzitter voor 3 Atoso. En kan je aan de bekende VP, kan je aan de bekende in de samenleving, maar was er niet tegen VP. In Noah Atoso anekobum. In Noah Atoso anekobum. En Atoso absent voor zorgen voor gezonde samenleving. En ik kan tegen dat 2 jaar geleden smabe dede door een situatie, maar nu ik kan tegen u, nu een situatie, sade nu tegen dat is maar nee dede, maar sma vernietigd nu, en dat is het modo, vernietigd. VP, take de belang voor een samenleving serieus. Dan nou, uno kies afie, lekker het serieus. Eva.
Nasa even rustig. Even. VP. Kosi mo aksi wansani. Ibetak di konja. Tak. Ibreiti tax ma emek gebruik voor de recht voor protesteer. Voor soort demande. Maar zou je nou de walo voor de ambtenaar, sano de tevreden en de man kostak ook toe. De man passie bedreigt de man, de leerkrachten passie bedreigt de man. En milk school ook toe, ik kan je uit dat mi passie bedreigt me ook toe. En dan lang de man die leggen dat de most intelligente lange heilig buiten functie. Maar puro lex school toe, maar puro wapen nou anu. De man te kutir swagi, mina trobi. Maar Samuel leg je uit. En menig te zijn usija. Ano afu ete sang fusawan kastrati. Maar usap ook toe tak des madem pasi. Met name tak de lanti kantoro. Usap tak de directeur na de chef. En intimideer des ma fukonja. Dus if you na voorstander voor a democratie na nga arreku betoging. Da ik de de pasi opdracht. Die de man vrijheid, make de man ko uit de mening, make de man ko protesteren.
Oké, we hebben al de problemen aan de attention draaien. Alles aan het zien. Alle dingen we hier de sandati. Ja, ze hebben bijna volk dat hier. We verstaan precies uit zakba. En niet heeft verstaan, maar met taki code. Ja, nee, met taki code. Omdat die zelfs zou weer had, dat die stekker moest motto. Maar, Mina, vice-president, en we gaan konja zo, dan tak al volop de pura stekker. We want duidelijk even, we want duidelijk naar de leiders voor protest. Met dit te gaan met dat keren. Dit is naar de punt, dit is naar de punt, dit is naar de punt. Nee. En pura stekkers heeft nou af dit punt op. We kunnen dit punt zo moest bespreken. Zo moest corrigeren. Dat we corrigeren dat hij. Ja toch? Tegen over pura stekker. En dat is nou wat niet. Niet de vrouw stekker. Maar een gemeenschap moet zeggen dat het gewoon besluit. En moet er wel overwogen besluit. Niet de vrouw. Maar wie weet gewoon besluit om not neem bakken. En dat duidelijk helemaal gemeen. Samusa. Tel het duidelijk. Dan sabia. Maar dan moet we papier dat jaren. Appendici. We talk over de punten dat hij. Dan met tegen dat met doe. Ja. Dus we gaan ruimte met mij te gaan. En die gewoon met mij jaren zijn sada we jaren bakken. Oké. We jaren zijn voor Pitaki. Wat de leider in een protest. Dus nou dat we actie VP was aan het. VP de landtiman zei van de onderwijsleider en de vice-president. De maar abi a toestemming voor jou. Voor kon straat, voor kon met gebruik voor het democratisch recht. Ja of nee? Je moet nou aan school toe. En toch iedereen als het idee. Ja toch? Dus, mina vice-president, mina kan roep maar of ik naar straat. Maar alles maar ze vier dat je want go. Mina maar tap no asma. Maar mina kan roep op ja zo dat je dus maar moest wachten. Dat kan ik niet doen. Dus met andere woorden, dat is wat straat. No one ranking of chef in een afdelingshoofd. No gebruik tekenen. Wat ik kan jullie vice-president met beroepsinstantie. De abembo, dat is maar konja. En ranking ook niet denk. Dan mogen we naar de vice-president komen als beroepsinstantie. Ja of nee, VP? Dus in ieder geval, die zeggen dat je een beroepsinstantie deed, ja? Maar kon nou wel lukken. Maar bij mij gaat het om, mij nog een tegen is maar gewoon een strategie. Dat kan ik niet doen. Maar iedereen heeft het recht, tegen democratie recht dat je want dat hij mag, hoor. Maar mij nog een roepsman op gewoon een strategie. Dat kan ik niet doen. Someone take it hoe die lijst, een petitie zou van nodig doen, dan hij zorgt dat je... Oké. We hebben nog één spreker. We hebben nog deze spreker die iets wil zeggen tot jullie.
VP. Even rust mensen, even rust. Even rust. Als jullie stil zijn, gaan jullie allemaal het horen. VP. Ook ik ben teleurgesteld. U bent hier voor het volk. En u zegt, u doet wat het volk van u wil. Het is heel simpel, VP. Het volk heeft maar één wens. Puur als stekker. Ook ik ben ontevreden, VP. Ik ben ontevreden omdat ik voor de verkiezingen gewerkt heb. Voor de VHP. Ik heb propaganda gevoerd. Die man heeft beloftes gemaakt, maar niets is zwaar gekomen. VP, puur als stekker, u wordt groter van. Puur als stekker, VP. U wordt president van het land als u dat doet.
Ja. VP? Hey! Dat best maakt me. VP? Ik heb een vraag naar u toe. Mijn snap je het beschouder. En hoe heb je mijn money voor kies eten voor overheid? Die regering gaat komen maar ze tot die Brunswijk aan oliekring. Regering actie voor begirei. Dan nou, hoe vind de money dat eten? De buschauffeur, ne vind de money eten sa de bem kisi en
hoe een probleem ook toe want a tarief no de haalbaar de passagiers pe a het sector drop van VP de kan met de morelijk tiki de bushouder wat aan de bushouder.
Dit is niet de plek.
Passie voor een stekker naar vuur. Wat dat dan op u? Dat hem ook tegen zijn doel. Na wat doet zij wel een stekker? Een pura stekker. Hey, one voice. Hey, say pay, no.
Hallo. Oké mensen. Middag jou afhuren. Miera alles aan de pura stekker. Tordisi. Alipjes nu wat denken. Ja? Mira, als je dat is dat we allemaal en daarom de pang op dat idee. Maar alles zou zijn met idee, zou zijn met adem idee. Ja? En dat is die gelegenheid met me wat denken dat we hier pakken. Je kan dat niet dan pakken, ja. Ja, maar ik wil graag bijna dat we horen rustig door. Ja? Oké. Hoe hoop je dat je dat stekker door? VP, de maand dat je hoop je dat je dat stekker door.
Mensen, VP takwalo sanja dide, maar zolang allemaal nog kijk koers werken, kune guer. Lagi doro gewoon. Lagu ne brisa da mai taki zolang de man doet aan de ma promisi. Wat awo epina, je get om epina. Ewe tango doro gewoon. One brisa da mai taki zere shefi. One het is sin.
Als je klein bent, word je weggeduwd. Gaat achter hem aan. Heel... Dit had ik verwacht van de vicepresident, die normaal gesproken altijd hier komt.
Ja, Willy.
Wat moedig van u dat u bent gekomen. U was niet bang?
Actie door een regeringsgebouw ja, en stak je kan moeite go tagana desma maar we hier ook tot dat desma actie dat je pura stekker
Natuurlijk, allemaal weer denken dat het is een deel van het volk. Dit dat je afvallen dat je pura stekker. Maar dat is niet en mee het teki als dat met denken luku. Dat is maar taki. Mine vrienden terug dat pura stekker dan ga je nog of taki je aan pura stekker nee. De takwasani ik neem die dingen mee dat me wat dingen maar die verstand dat me denken zelfs maar taki.
U gaat met de actievoerders praten?
Ik heb met ze gesproken.
Dus ze komen niet apart bij u nog?
Nou, ze kan wel apart komen,
Ja.
heb ik begrepen.
Dit was een vicepresident die eigenlijk altijd naar buiten komt. Dus hij is in het kabinet staan en hij heeft hetzelfde gedaan. Oeps, meneer.
Zo, mensen, ik wees hier. Ja.
Oh. We zijn tot ver mogen komen. We mogen niet verder. Oké mensen, wat mij betreft, even, ik ga eruit. Waarom? We gestaan hebben gezien. Morgen heb ik een verrassing. In de studio, als het goed is, gaan we praten met iemand over dit soort zaken. Ik hoop dat jullie tevreden waren met deze live uitzending. Ik ga je vertellen, het is enorm warm. Het is heet. Ik heb zo lang mogelijk gestaan. 3 uurtjes gestaan, 2 uurtjes. Ik ga eruit en ik ga even. Die vriendin die van Amerika is hier, die morgen vertrekt alsnog ontmoeten. En het is niet zo weer. Niet zo weer hier. Oké, morgen ben ik weer met even na 9. En uiteraard gaan we hierover praten. En ik heb een gast die hele kritische vragen stelt. Nou, Sam is ook bijna weg, ik weet niet hoezo. Maar ik zie jullie allemaal morgen. Dank voor jullie kijken. Ik heb niks kunnen lezen van comments. Mensen die dingen zeggen. We hebben net gehoord dat meneer Piqué zegt dat ik voor Chan werk. Weet u? Zou dat niet. Meneer Piqué is een leugenaar. Ik werk voor niemand. Ik ben hier als Surinamer. Zolang we niet kunnen denken aan Suriname. Is oké. Dat is mijn paimi. Verdien ik nog wat centen. Dan moet meneer paimi jaren. Dat is maar tegen Lolo zijn. En ik kan nog andere informatie geven, maar ga ik niet doen. When they go low, we go high. So I bless iedereen die negatief praat, iedereen die leugens verkondigt. Zegen ik. Daarvoor ben ik geroepen. Ik heb een.
All right, you're watching the live protest in Suriname. You saw the folks went out there in their numbers you saw the folks out there in their numbers protesting the situation there in Suriname and the fact that they want the government to resign. In fact, they want the president to resign, Santoki. They believe that there's massive corruption that's going on. People's bank accounts, those who are in office, their bank accounts are very, very hefty. Let's head to Suriname and find out what's going on. We have someone in Paramaribo right now who will give us a quick rundown as to what the protest is all about, even though we already have an idea. Good morning, how are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm fine.
Yeah.
So I'll try and give you a quick update.
Yeah, well, we are actually live, and I should say, hoe ga ik met jou?
Het gaat goed.
Dat is goed, right? Okay, so lots of people hit the streets this morning to protest. Can you give us a quick rundown as to what's happening in Suriname right now?
Okay, so I'll try and summarize everything real quick for you guys. So as you can see, there's a protest going on because the government made promises before the election for all the propaganda and all that stuff. And so far, they didn't really commit to their promises. So everybody in the country is mad because we're all feeling it. The poverty rose to the currency went up higher, our salaries did not, and it's getting harder to take care of yourself if that happens. So now everybody's protesting, and they have this list that they want to give the government, but nobody actually wanted to talk to them. So the vice president came out this morning to talk to the people, and he
If you
said that
can, if you can stop for a moment, the gentleman with the suit there speaking right now, or moments
ye-
ago, is Ronnie Brunswick, the vice president of Suriname, right?
yes,
Good.
yes,
So, what
correct.
exactly, what message, what was he saying to the people?
He was saying that he is okay with people being busy with their democratic rights, that people go and protest, and that he has no issue with it at all, and that he wants the list that they made of things that they want to correct. That's what
Okay.
he told them, and that he
So,
is also not that he doesn't agree with everything that is happening in the country right now.
all right. Stick a pin there again. We just want our listeners to know that Ronnie Brunswick is the vice president of Suriname, and the government is a coalition government in your country right now. And Ronnie Brunswick is from a smaller party that coalesce with Santoki to form the government.
Yes.
Okay. And you're saying Santoki himself, I'm sorry, the vice president, Ronnie Brunswick, said that he himself doesn't like what is happening in the country right now.
Yes, that's correct.
How important is that statement to all Surinamese? And can we expect the government to fall?
Um, we'll have to see how Rani Brunswick responds. Since he said that he wants to bring it to the rest in the parliament, we'll see if he does that. And according to that, we'll see if this government will fall because most people here are ready to get rid of him and to put someone else there.
Okay, and what is the President Santoki saying during all these protests and people frustrated at especially the level of corruption throughout his government? What is he saying exactly?
He keeps saying that everything is well and going fine, but if according to the protests that you see now and the amount of people there, everybody disagrees with him. And so far, we haven't really gotten a response from him since the protest.
Can can you list some of the corruption in his government that people have been accusing him of? Santoki, that is, his government corruption. I've heard something about the first lady. People are alleging that she is powerful, she's corrupt, allegedly. And just to have our listeners know that the first lady is Guyanese, right?
Sorry, could you repeat that for me one more time?
We have been hearing of corruption, massive corruption. What are some of the corruption allegations of corruption, sorry, in the Santoki government? And we've also been hearing that his wife, the first lady, is Guyanese.
Yeah, that's as far as I know, that's true. But she has been filling a lot of functions as a first lady and also getting salary for that. And people disagree with that because why are you the first lady and doing so many things and getting money for all of that? Just for all of the functions. Why are you not putting other people there so people can work?
So everything has gone up. Cost of living gone up. Every single thing on the Santoki. Santoki has basically, according to Surinamis, have broken his elections promises. Am I correct?
Yeah, so we are still waiting on the president's response. Because so far it's just the vice president has been talking.
So before you go though, is it surprising that the vice president came out and actually agrees with what the protesters are talking about, levels of corruption and so forth? Those allegations, he has not been spared from those allegations as well. Are you surprised that the vice president actually came out?
No, I am not surprised. It was something I actually did expect. The real question is, will he bring it under discussion in the parliament and will something come out of it?
Quickly before we let you go, do you think he has that power to bring these allegations of corruption to Parliament, speaking to some of his colleagues who themselves are being accused of corruption, including the President Santoki?
Of course, he has the power to do that. He can bring the discussion up, and then oh yeah, they have to discuss it with the prime minister and all that with the president. But we are still waiting on an update for that.
Okay, when we do have an update, I'm sure that you'll find some time from your busy schedule as a private citizen to let us know what is happening. One last question before we go. Uh, are they talks in the streets about the government being toppled from within parliament? Like, for example, if Ronnie Brunswick and his party walk away, what does that say for Suriname government?
Walk away as in from their position, or
No, walk away from being part of, take all of their votes, all of their parliament seats away from Santoki.
Hmm, so far, everybody, they just want to get rid of this government, sorry, since nobody is committing to the promises that were made before the elections.
Got you. And the people,
They want something new.
yeah. So the people promise to remain in the streets.
Yeah, so far, yes, this has been the third day.
All right. Before we go, any final message to folks, because you got lots of folks from around the world who are watching. Any message to them in terms of something I may not have asked you concerning Surinamese and the plight right now, what they're going through? Does this resemble what is going on in Guyana in terms of allegations of widespread corruption, government level?
Well, I've been hearing some great news going on in Guyana right now. And compared to what's happening here, and both countries having found oil and all of that, I think it's going better when it comes to that, with infrastructure and all that. But I also saw people rioting and people going and striking Guyana.
Yes, people are doing so because the level of corruption is almost identical to what is happening in Suriname, and even more
Mark?
corruption. Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me? Yep, can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, sorry, we had to disconnect our call. Let's see if we have her back. Are you back with us?
Yes, I thought you
Okay.
were gone or something happened.
No, that's all right. Anything else you want our viewers, our listeners to know about Suriname and maybe what's next?
Well, I'll say stay tuned. The live views will be shared, of course, and everybody around the world can watch it as well. Maybe the language is going to be a bit difficult to understand since everybody here speaks the dialect more when it comes to certain things, but Dutch will also be spoken.
Well, that is why we'll have folks like you to give us a bit of interpretation as to what is happening.
Yes,
I
I will
noticed
try
someone.
my best.
I noticed someone said "Fawaka mimati."
Oh, Pawaka.
Fawaka mimati. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time, though, and you guys keep the pressure and be safe.
Yes, thank you and be safe. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having me.
Bye bye. Yep. All right. You heard live there from a Surinamese, of course, in Paramaribo, talking about what's happening in that country right now. Uh, like I've said, almost identical to what's happening in Guyana. The level of corruption across the board. And we know these two individuals, some people are saying birds of a feather flock together, right? That is Santoki and that is Irfan Ali. Santoki and Irfan Ali. Widespread corruption. I noticed that there's a comment from Gemma. Hi, Gemma. Good morning. Mark Benshop. Thank you for changing the spelling of my name, but it's okay. I get your point here. This int resemble, it is exactly what we feeling and see, but our country is so racially and politically divided that we sit and shut up because we're not affected. I agree with that statement 100%. 100%, I agree with it. But can we see the people of Guyana doing what the people of Suriname and other countries such as Sri Lanka have been doing. Can we see that? I don't know. I really don't know whether we are going to be seeing that. People should be standing up and doing what is right in terms of standing up for their rights, standing up against corrupt politicians and so forth. I don't know. Let's hope at least someday we will be able to see that. But the level of corruption between the leaders, allegations of corruption by these leaders, the government and their officials and so forth has gone sky high. Santoki, I remember when he was Minister of Security, I believe it was. He was tough on crime. He was tough on corruption. He was tough on everything. As you may recall, it was Santoki when he was Minister of National Security, or position resembles that. He was tough on the Phantom Squad and drug lords and so forth. He ensured that Roger Khan and his guys were rounded up, tied up, arrested. He ensured that Roger Khan was extradited to the US and so forth. So that Santoki was tough on corruption, tough on crime, tough on the Phantom Squad, tough on killing squads, tough on drug lords. Now that he's the president of the country, you understand what's happening. I just thought I remind you who Santoki is and what he did in the past, which is completely different. We get some other messages coming in from, Suriname as well, and the protest will continue, as the people are saying. This was earlier. It came to an end just about maybe 5 minutes or so ago. We see the people. We see that they're not afraid to stand up. We see that they're not afraid to protest. And maybe in other countries, some of those other countries, we know that the leaders just sit by and find frivolous excuses why they can't or why they wouldn't protest. At least the people in Suriname, they're not sitting and waiting for someone to put them in office or some promise that were made, alleged promise to put them in office. We hear about these things in other countries. We hear about them in Guyana as well. But look at what is happening here. Right now, moments ago, the vice president came out. The people were protesting in front of the presidential office. And this is what's happening. They're not being gunned down. They're not being slaughtered for protesting. They're not, unlike what happens in other countries, such as Guyana being one of them. That is Ronnie Brunswick. He was partner with Budasa. Budase's party is Baltasar Sari. His party is out of office. And Ronnie Brunswick teamed up with his then political enemy, Santoki, to help to form the next government. And this is why the government now in Suriname is a coalition government with the assistance of Ronnie Brunswick, the man in the suit there, who is the vice president. So they negotiated. Ronnie Brunswick got some ministries. I think he got the oil ministry. He got national security, I believe, his party, and he is the vice president of Suriname. A minor party, just a few votes. And now Ronnie Brunswick got his history with Baltasar. Ronnie Brunswick was accused of the very thing that he's now saying to the protesters. People felt that he didn't do that in the past and persons were killed. And so those sort of allegations were leveled against Ronnie Brunswick. But now he comes out, a different man, to talk to the people, to say to the people they have every right to protest. It's their democratic right, and so forth and so on. Gosh, life, huh? Francine, let's see what Francine is saying. Francine is always up and about. Francine Cruz says here, fighters pay attention, we will be carrying out a citizen arrest at the appropriate time. The PPP criminal, Francine, is always with her handcuffs ready to arrest. Ready to arrest. Thank you so much, Francine. When Francine is ready to arrest, maybe we should team up with Francine and get the arrest going. But let us head back because for some of you who may have missed it, to hear what Ronnie Brunswick, who is now heading back into the presidential office, where he is, of course, the vice president. And some of you who may be familiar with Suriname, this is in Paramaribo. Those are his security agents. He just spoke to the crowd. He felt comfortable, and let's see what happens next. But don't go anywhere. We'll find some other news to talk to you about. As you know, currently there is the hearing, the High Court hearing concerning the appointment of the Judicial Service Commission and the acting police commissioner. So don't go anywhere. We have still have a few minutes we want to spend with you. So we'll be right back.
Ik zal je vertellen, het is enorm warm, het heet. Ik heb zo lang mogelijk gestaan. 3 uurtjes gestaan, 2 uurtjes. Ik ga eruit en ik ga even. De vriendin die van Amerika is hier, die morgenochtend vertrekt, alsnog vermoeden. En het is niet zo beleefd. Maar niet zegt weer. Oké, morgen ben ik weer met even na 9. Uiteraard gaan we hierover praten. En ik heb een gast die hele kritische vragen stelt. Of Sam is ook bijna weg, ik weet niet hoezo. Maar ik zie jullie allemaal morgen. Dank voor jullie kijken. Ik heb niks kunnen lezen van comments. Mensen die dingen zeggen. We hebben net gehoord dat meneer Piqué zegt dat ik voor Chan werk. Weet u? Zou ze dat niet. Meneer Piqué is een leugenaar. Ik werk voor niemand. Ik ben hier als Surinamer. Zolang we niet kunnen denken aan Suriname. Is oké. Zoals mijn pijn. Verdien ik nog wat centen. Dan moet mijn pijn niet jaren. Ik smaak tegen lolo zijn. En ik kan nog andere informatie geven, maar ga ik niet doen. When they go low, we go high. So I bless iedereen die negatief praat, iedereen die leugens verkondigt, zegen ik. Daarvoor ben ik geroepen. Ik heb proberen te laten zien wat er gebeurt. Ik ben er morgen weer. Ciao, ciao.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But
where hundreds of these student protesters are right now making their way towards President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's house. They blame the president and his whole family, really, that have long ruled this country for destroying its economy, and they want to see them removed from power. But standing in their way are busloads of riot police.
Sri Lanka is facing its worst financial crisis since becoming independent in 1948. People here can't get basic goods, and they blame the ruling Rajapaksa family for pushing the country to a breaking point. As the protesters closed in on the president's house, they found police ready to stop them.
Student protesters just faced up against the riot police who used tear gas and water cannons trying to disperse the crowd. I've never seen anything like this. After the protesters came here and faced off against riot police, they were dispersed, but they've since returned, moving the police barricades and pushing the riot police back.
These protesters have every reason to be angry. The UN says 4 out of 5 Sri Lankans have started skipping meals because they can't afford to eat.
We are presently undergoing a severe economic crisis that has profoundly impacted the lives of all Sri Lankans.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who's the latest member of the Rajapaksa dynasty to rule Sri Lanka, blames the crisis on the pandemic, global inflation, and the war in Ukraine. But his critics say his decision to implement the biggest tax cuts in the nation's history, despite Sri Lanka owing $51 billion in foreign debt, is what collapsed the economy. The crisis severely worsened in May, when the country's foreign reserves dried up, making it difficult to import basic goods like medicine, cooking gas, and fuel. At gas stations, the lines stretched for miles. This woman waited hours to get cooking gas, only to be told the station had just run out. At other stations, the owners have even asked local monks to try to keep everyone calm. Mohammed Imran, a father of 4, drives his own tuk-tuk, the 3-wheeled taxi that many Sri Lankans rely on to make a living. He's already been here for 7 hours and is still waiting behind hundreds of people.
What are these guys? They're pushing.
Yes, no have petrol.
They don't have any petrol.
No any petrol. No have.
So everyone's pushing, has to push their tuk-tuk.
දාය සිට වගේ මේ පොලිම මිනිස්සු ගෙවල් වලත් යන්නේ නැතුව මේ පොලිමේ ඉන්නේ. දරුවන්ට කෑමක් නැහැ. මේ පොලිම කිලෝමීටර් 4ක් මේක බලන්න බෑ මේක යනවා නම් එතකොට ළමුන්ගේ අපේ බෑ කෑම අද උදේ කෑම අද දවල් කෑම කොහොම ලබාගත්තද කියලා දන්නේ උඩ ඉන්න දෙවියෝ විතරයි. මේ දුප්පත් මිනිහාගේ දවසේ පඩිය රුපියල් 1500යි 2000යි. මේ මිනිස්සු කොහොම ජීවත් වෙන්නේ දන්නේ නැහැ.
Imran, what are you going to do if you can't get fuel today for your tuk-tuk?
මේ පෙට්‍රල් ටික ගාගත්තට පස්සේ තමයි මගේ ඊළඟ ස්ටෙප් එකට මම යන්න ඕනේ. මගේ දරුවා බිස්කට් පැකට් එකක් කිල්ලුවත් මට දැන් ගෙනිය ගන්න බැරි තත්ත්වයක් තියෙන්නේ. මම තව පාරක් කියන්නේ මේ තත්ත්වෙට ගෙනාවු පාලකයන්ට සාප වෙන්න ඕනේ, සාප වෙන්න ඕනේ, සාප වෙන්න ඕනේ.
The Rajapaksas came to power during Sri Lanka's 26-year civil war. Amid accusations of war crimes, they oversaw the defeat of Tamil Hindu separatists in 2009. The oldest brother, Mahinda, was president then, while Gotabaya, the current president, was Secretary of Defense. Many within the country's majority Sinhalese Buddhist community saw them as heroes. After a decade in power, they were voted out in 2015 and accused of siphoning billions into overseas accounts. But just before elections in 2019, multiple suicide attacks claimed by the Islamic State killed nearly 300 people on the Easter holiday. Gotabaya won the presidency on a promise to restore security to the country. He appointed Mahinda as prime minister and other relatives to important cabinet positions, returning the Rajapaksa dynasty to power.
They made themselves into these saviors, people who saved the country, people who won an unwinnable war, and they were valorized and they were made into gods.
Ambika Satkunanathan was the country's human rights commissioner during the years the Rajapaksas were not in office. Who are the Rajapaksas?
They are entrenched in Sri Lankan politics now. It's become more of a family business. Our political culture, I think, was rather dysfunctional and corrupt anyway, but I think they took it to new heights, shall we say. So they subverted the rule of law like no other previous government.
How so?
Nepotism, corruption. So in a sense of rules did not matter.
Do you think the president is going to step down, as protesters are demanding he do?
I think the president and the Rajapaksas will try every trick in the book to stay in power. The main reason he hasn't left office is fear of being held accountable, because I think they're afraid of prosecution here and also prosecution abroad. So it is fear about what would happen to him is what is preventing him from stepping down.
The Sri Lankan president insists he's not going anywhere, but protesters say neither are they. Since April, hundreds have been camping here on the main road outside of his office. M.A. Mahinda is a former soldier who lost his leg while serving in the Civil War. Before the economic crisis began, he was a staunch supporter of the Rajapaksas.
මොකද මේ රටේ අපි අතපය දන් දීලා බේරගත් රට අවසන් කරාට පස්සේ මේ රට සෞභාග්‍යයට ගෙනියනවා කියලා මේ රට විනාශ කරා.
So when did you go from being someone who was a supporter of the Rajapaksas to someone who's here protesting them today?
එයාලගේ උදෙක් වාසි තකා පමණයි මේ දේශපාලන ඉතිහාසයේ කරලියට අරගෙන යම් යම් යුද්ධයේ මවාපාමින් ජාතිවාදයේ මවාපාමින් කෙටවීම තුල මිනිස්සු බලනවා මේ රට ගොඩ ගන්න නායකයා තමයි මේ අපිට ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ කියලා මවාපෑමක් පාමින් එයාලගේ බලය තහවුරු කරගන්න තමයි එයාලගේ එකම අදිෂ්ඨානය. නවවෙනිදා අප්‍රේල් 9 වෙනිදා පස්සේ මේ රටේ ලොකු වෙනසක් වුණා. අපි හැමෝම එකට එක්කලා මේ රට ගොඩ ගන්න ප්‍රතිපත්ති සහ මේ ගොඩ ගන්න ක්‍රියාදාම ජාතිය වශයෙන් බෙදෙන්නේ නැතුව මේ අපි හැමෝම එකතු වෙලා තියන්නේ.
But taking on the president has been dangerous. On May 9th, these protesters were attacked by people who had just left a pro-Rajapaksa rally. The government supporters set fire to their tents and assaulted anyone they could catch. Anti-government groups responded by burning down the prime minister's home and destroying dozens of mansions belonging to the Rajapaksas and their political allies. 9 people died in the violence, and more than 300 were wounded. Shortly after, Mahinda resigned as prime minister, but Gotabaya still refuses to step down as president. Instead, he's appointed a new prime minister, who's now trying to negotiate foreign bailouts to help ease the crisis. But until the last Rajapaksa leaves office, protesters say they'll continue, and people like Imran are joining the movement. Why are you personally coming here?
ඩීසල් නෑ, පෙට්‍රල් නෑ, ගෑස් ටික නෑ, භූමි තෙල් ටික නෑ, ළමයින්ට කිරිපිටි ටික නෑ, තව මාසෙකින් මං හිතන විදිහට මිනිස්සුන්ට කෑම නැති වෙනවා. අපි ඒකින්දයි කියන්නේ මේ රාජපක්ෂ පරම්පරාව ගෝඨ ඇතුළු මුළු රාජපක්ෂ පරම්පරාවම පන්නලා දාන්න ඕනේ කියලා තමයි මේ මිනිස්සුන්ගේ එකම මතය.
You're not only coming by yourself. I saw you with your 4 children. You bring your whole family out here?
සමහර විට මගේ බිරිඳ දරුවන් රැගෙන එනවා. සමහර විට මට පුළුවන් වෙලාවට මම තනියම එනවා. මට පුළුවන් උපරිමයේ සහයෝගය මම මේ අරගලය කරන අයට පුළුවන් උපරිමයේ සහයෝගය මගේ ලබා දෙනවා. නමුත් අපේ නායකයා අද මුළු රටම එපා කිව්වත් එයාගේ ඉල්ලාසීමේ මේකක් අපිට පේන්නේ නැහැ. අපේ ජීවිතය පුදලාරි අපි ඔයාව යවනකම් අපි මෙතනින් යන්නේ නැහැ. අපි යනවා.
All right, so you get that.
Decided to go green overnight by forcing all farmers in the country
Sorry,
to suddenly go
so
organic.
you got that there from the people of Sri Lanka. They went out, they did their thing, whatever that was necessary to ensure that corrupt governments are no longer the order of the day that they go. And that's what people want, corrupt governments, I repeat, and read between the lines, corrupt government to go. That is what people want. That is what people fight for, to see the backs of those corrupt individuals. If you know what I mean, see the backs of those corrupt individuals. Moments ago, you saw that the vice president of Suriname, Ronnie Brunswick, was out there talking to the protesters, the people who are calling on the Surinamese government to go, to resign. They want them to go. And so some more news coming in there from Suriname is that the vice president asked the people what they want at that protest. You heard it. And one of the things that they did respond to say that they want the first lady. They said, let the first lady step off of all of her unnecessary functions. That's it. They want her to step off. The first lady of Suriname happens to be Guyanese, right? And so she has been wielding a tremendous amount of power. Mind you, before she became first lady, she and the current president Santoki were just living home. They were living home. They weren't married, or they just living home. And I stress on that because Santoki and the current first lady, his wife, were living home. For years they were living home. And so after he became the president of Suriname, that's when they got married. And so they got married to legitimize this thing, if you know what I mean, because he could not have been, he didn't probably want to be unmarried. And then the people of Suriname would not have accepted her at all, period. Now, Dutch people are I wouldn't say strange, but they kind of like to get things right. And so what Santoki did was to marry his Surinamese live-home partner. So she became the first lady, or she is now the first lady. She has become so powerful that she's running around doing things that she ought not to be doing. And when she's doing these things, in her position as first lady, according to them, she's being paid, and they want her to step out of the limelight of all those functions. In other words, they're saying to the first lady of Suriname, who happens to be Guyanese, they want her to step off, step away, don't go out, don't represent us, and in fact, being paid for that. So they have asked Ronnie Brunswick, the vice president, to ensure that she stops. Also, Ronnie Brunswick has a relative that is also an official there, Leo Brunswick. They have said to Ronnie that they don't want Leo Brunswick to be in any position. And this is the latest news. This is what's coming out now. That what they did, they kept putting their family members and friends into key positions. And the Surinamese, the people of Suriname, they are not having it at all. But guess what? Guess what? That was one of the demands from the protesters, by the protesters. So they said to Ronnie Brunswick, we don't want the Surinamese people. Sorry that I'm trying to sound really nice and sweet when I say Surinamese. People said to Ronnie Brunswick, the vice president of Suriname, that his cousin or a relative of his, Leo Brunswick, who holds a position that is an official capacity, they want Leo Brunswick to step down, to resign from his position. Ronnie Brunswick, moments ago at that protest, heard the protesters. He listened to the protesters, something he hasn't been doing in the past. So this is what the latest news is. As of tomorrow, in fact, later today, Leo Brunswick, the relative of Ronnie Brunswick, will resign his position. The people of Suriname are still saying that is not enough. They want the president, Santoki, to come out and say something. In fact, they want him to resign. Knowing Santoki, he's not going to resign. Knowing Brunswick, Ronnie Brunswick, he is not going to they're going to put up a fight. But here's what may eventually happen. Ronnie Brunswick is a politician that has been around for decades. He understands the struggle, so to speak. He knows how to maneuver his way out. Because remember, he partnered with his friend Botasa, and Botasa was voted out of office. Ronnie Brunswick teamed up with Santoki to help form this government they have in Suriname right now. So Ronnie Brunswick realized, because remember, Ronnie Brunswick went to the streets to meet the people. He understands that. Going into the streets to meet the people. He's a fighter from the streets. Santoki doesn't understand that politics. And I'll be surprised if Santoki goes out there to talk to the people. He is not going to go out. I'll be surprised if he does. Now, we may eventually get some statement from Santoki to say that his wife, First Lady, Guyanese, they were living for years. They got married after he became the president. They don't have any kids, none whatsoever. And so Santoki may say to the people of Suriname that his wife will be removed from all official representing the government. But it doesn't mean, mind you, that she can't be first lady or to go to cut some ribbon somewhere. They don't want her to wield that much power. And that's the problem. That's part of the problem. Ronnie Brunswick has begun to fix one of those problems by asking his relative Leo Brunswick to resign. Now that's interesting. The people of Suriname are not giving up. They're going to continue to be in the streets, calling on Santoki, calling on the government to resign. Because even though Ronnie Brunswick has said, a couple minutes ago, he announced that his cousin or his relative, Leo Brunswick, will resign. Let's hear what else is coming out of Suriname. Basically, a lot of those officials, not just Ronnie Brunswick or Santoki, lots of other ministers, they get their friends, they get their family members, their children, their wives, their sisters, their brothers in top government positions. And Surinamese are saying, no, it is unacceptable. So they meant while their friends and their cronies are being given contracts and positions and so forth, the ordinary folks, the ordinary Surinamese get nothing. They get not even the crumbs. And when you see them out there protesting, they're simply saying, enough is enough. Can we blame them? Can we blame them? I know the shouting of poor sticker in Dutch, pull the plug, poor sticker, pull the plug on the government. They want to pull the plug on the government. They're asking, why is the currency so low? One Suriname one dollar to what? 22.99 or 95 of the Dutch currency. You know, many of you remember back in the days that kind of leaned on Suriname, and that's how a lot of people got rich, filthy rich, with what was termed then the backtracking of goods, contraband goods, lots of contraband goods at that time when certain items were restricted, not banned, restricted with the help of jelly jagging. So people are upset, very upset, and they want to pull the plug on the government of Suriname, the Santoki government there in Suriname. Lots of things happening there, right? Lots of things happening around the world. Meanwhile, what's happening in Guyana, guys? I'll tell you guys what's happening in Guyana. And this is not to make mockery of the gentleman that is doing whatever he's doing, but this is basically what is happening in Guyana. While we see the struggles in Suriname, the people are in the streets protesting for what's right against a corrupt government. We saw what happened in Sri Lanka. Let's go to Guyana to find out what the people are up to. Let's find out. Let's go. Maybe this is what they're up to, even under a corrupt, racist PPP regime. This is what the people of Guyana are doing. Not all of them, but most of them.
I step on Twitchy man, step on we are down when I fall out of the man. I step on Twitchy man. When you say you're a Twitchy man.
Yep, that's exactly what's happening in Guyana, but we see what's happening in Suriname, in Sri Lanka, and so forth. And some people are saying like the Guyanese folks don't have BALLS. Now, I don't know that, but people are calling on the opposition leader. They're calling on opposition members of parliament to head out there to do something. This is not the time to head up on social media and fix up your hair and your makeup and peep to see who like you and who sending you comments that you love and, oh, you look good and, oh, this. That's the sort of political representation that we are now seeing, and the bar has been lowered. It seems as though it's a fashion show now. Politics for the opposition has now become a fashion show. It has got to stop, and the people have to even not sound their voices against the regime, the installed regime. They have to sound their voices against those who have been selected and elected to represent the people, who feel that representation is just hopping on a Facebook show, click their cameras, and feel that that is sufficient. Maybe you send that message. You guys need to send that message to the opposition too, that enough is enough with them, that they need to stand up. They need to go out there and represent your interests. Don't come out and say that the people ain't going out. Forget about if the people are not going out. You have to demonstrate that you have what it takes to stand up and represent the people. Meanwhile, we go back to Guyana, and this is what the people like in Guyana. It would appear, not all of the people, but this is what they like. We'll take a quick break while people are protesting in Suriname, people are protesting in Sri Lanka and other parts of the world, but this is what most people are probably doing in Guyana right now.
I'm in the mood, I'm feeling rude.
on your body. Rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body. I just get paid. I want to play. The vibes is right. I wanna hug up tight. No time to waste. I wanna work my waist. So come on, babes. Give me a taste. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love up. I wanna rub and kiss up. I wanna rub and jam up. I wanna rub and rub up. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body.
And then when you talk, they get vexed, right? All you hearing is about Juve, party, mashing up, black affairs, this affairs, wine ups, king up, all manner of things. Meanwhile, the country is going down, 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 down the hill. Have you heard that sugar is being imported? Sugar from Belize is being imported to Guyana. Have you heard of that? Have you heard of sugar price? Sugar price gone completely up, sky high. And yet what it is that Guyanese are doing. They're just sitting and maybe there's nothing much to do. Maybe they're expecting people outside of Guyana, maybe some politician to rescue them. Now, look, I don't have a problem with people wanting to be rescued, but people have to show some sign that they need to be rescued. They can't just sit down and expect other people to fight their battle for them. Just as I would say that those in the opposition shouldn't sit down and wait for other people to fight their battles for them. They're being paid. They're being paid to represent the people. Head out there and represent the goddamn people instead of sitting down and pretending as though or pretending or giving the impression that this is a fashion show, that you got to go on Facebook to see who like you and who, hi MP, you're looking good. Or, hi, oh gosh, I like how your hair do. You get that nice makeup or whatever else. And this is not confined to just one gender of opposition MPs, mind you. So don't get me wrong, because a lot of them feel like they just rush on Facebook, they get a show, and they are right. They're representing the people. You see, I get a show. So instead of them go out into the streets, go out into the communities and do a work, all of them want to create their own Facebook show. So they have Facebook show. They have Facebook show for every single thing. And meanwhile, the people are not getting the form of representation that they need, they desperately need. The opposition leader, well, I don't know. He comes out occasionally when the people go out. And outside of that, we just don't know what else is happening. That's the fact. When you talk, they get vexed. But I'm in a position right now, I don't give a damn whether they vex or not. At the end of the day, they need to go out and represent the people. Are they really representing the people? I doubt. I really, really, and truly doubt that they are representing the people. And it's very, very sad that this is what our politics have been reduced to. Sweet boy and sweet girl, opposition members of parliament. Sweet boy and sweet boy and sweet girl politics. Anyways, I'm looking at some of your comments. Some of you might not agree with what I'm saying about the sweet boy and sweet girl politics. You're not seeing them. You're not hearing much from them, except when they jump on social media to talk about something. Or whenever the people, this is what they say. They say that the people are not going out. Well, look, let me say this to most of these lazy politicians in the opposition, those lazy members of parliament in the opposition. There are a couple of them who might be working and doing and trying their thing, and I give them credit for that. They know who they are. You guys know who those working MPs in the opposition are too. And you guys are smart enough to know who those lazy ones are. So I don't have to call the names of the lazy ones as yet, because we need to see more representation from these people. In fact, we hardly see them. COVID-19 is on the rise again in Guyana. People are dying every day as a result of COVID. But are we hearing anything from individuals, especially in the opposition, who would guide their support base, guide the people in the country, and remind them that COVID is real? No, we're not seeing these sort of things. But then when you talk, they get vexed, they get upset, they inbox each other to say, hear what Ben Shap's saying, hear what Mark talking about. Look, I don't give a damn about you guys, what you talk, what you say. If you're not representing the people, well, I'm not going to stay quiet. You guys need to get off social media, get off the goddamn Facebook page with your life, and go on the streets. We want to see what's happening. For days now, J.R. Crawford has been talking about blackout. Nobody cares. It seems as though no one cares about blackout in Alnis village. Where are some of the members of parliament, or where are these people? I mean, I know the honorable MP, he's one of them that is working. He's on the ground, Dinesh Jai Prashad, and I give him kudos. He was offered time here on Ben Shop Radio, and guess what? You want to know why? You want to know what? Guess what? He is the only person who has been consistent in his show and dealing with relevant matters concerning people in his region. The only one. Everybody else got some excuse. They're busy, they're this, they're that. Everybody else. Oh, they never did shows like this before. They may know how to do all manner of excuses upon excuses upon excuses. And so I give kudos to Dinesh Jai Prashad. Yes, I'll give him kudos for sticking it out. We offer them time. They don't, vexation and all manner of things, but I guess it's the nature of opposition politics in Guyana, right? Speaking of sugar, this is what we've been reduced to in Guyana. Sais Narayan Singh, who's supposed to be the turnaround expert, the guy who is supposed to turn the sugar industry around, he hasn't done so. I don't know what or who he is turning around, but certainly not sugar. And even if he's attempting to turn around sugar is no longer sweet in Guyana. It is scarce, it is expensive. And we're hearing reports that sugar is being imported from Belize at the moment. Here is Sais Narayan Singh, the acting. He is still acting, he's not the actual chief executive officer of Gaisuko. He's acting in that capacity for almost 3 years now. He is still acting, and he's not a good actor. Here's what he had to say recently.
They expect gratefulness from you. And this is what President Pierre Fanali got to face from y'all. They used to call Moses Nagamutu Nimakaram. I never said that. I said they used to call Moses Nagamutu Nimakaram. Because when the PPP made him, that's when he stopped the freaking PPP. Same thing with Ramjit and everything for your education. The PPP gave it to him. And we do. Stop the PPP when the PPP needed it. Yeah, but today, I become strike. Strike when you got fresh cane there.
That is not fresh cane, boss. I pay mud.
All right.
Pay mud in there. After filter, I pay mud.
So you guys heard him trying to mama guy the people them saying that fresh gain, fresh gain. I want you to hear again the lies, massive corruption and propaganda by these guys. And you know what? When the PPP guys were calling Moses Nagamoto, Nimakaram, Chamar, Korhi, Katahar, all manner of things they call them, including Ramjatan. Ramjatan, yeah, including Ramjatan. Guess what? Guess what? Sesnarai Singh, who was a member of the AFC, was cussing the PPP, cussing Jagdev and all of them, calling them Katahars and Korhis and Nimakaram too. Those support, those cane cutters probably do not remember that. They don't. But because this guy, this turnaround expert, says Narayan Singh get a little position, he get fat now, he's doing well. He has never done so well in his entire life. He has always been struggling from a little job to another job, barely getting a little pulori and so forth to eat. I'm not going to sit here and call him hungry belly or anybody hungry belly. But what I can say right now, he's no longer hungry, right? He's no longer living out in a basement or whatever. He's living the good life now. He's one of the fat cats, so to speak, right? And I'll go back to the tape and you'll hear the lies that he was about to say or he was saying to those sugar workers, and they cut him in his track almost immediately. Here goes.
They give you, they expect gratefulness from you. And this is what President Pierre Fanali got to face from y'all. You know, they used to call Moses Nagamutu Nimakaram. I never said that. I said they used to call Moses Nagamutu Nimakaram. Because when the PPP made him, that's when he stopped the freaking PPP. Same thing with Ramshit and everything for your education. The PPP gave it to him. And we do. Stop the PPP when the PPP needed it. Yeah, but today, I become strike. Strike when you got fresh cane there.
That is not fresh cane, boss. That pay mud.
All right.
Pay mud in there. As a filter operator, I pay mud.
You see, after he got caught, he didn't expect, and I say kudos to those sugar workers, kudos to those cane cutters who were honest enough, and I like that they confronted him and stopped him right away. He said, "Fresh cane there, fresh cane there." They said, "No, boss, no, that mud there." He stopped. He couldn't say anything. He was caught lying. Meanwhile, all of these things happening, Guyana, sugar price gone up, all things gone up, everything gone up, oil gone up, fish price gone up, potato price gone up, flour price gone up, pulori price gone sky high. Meanwhile, this is what Guyanese who are supposed to be in the streets, who are supposed to be confronting a government that is making life miserable for them. They're not on the streets doing that. And we know most of the opposition politicians don't care to be on the streets. That's why you don't see them out there. And so they're not concerned about representing your interests. They're going to come to you quietly or inbox you. Some of them might be inboxing you right now to say, don't worry about what Mark's saying, because when we call the people to go out, the people don't go out. You know why? Because when the people go out on their own, some of y'all in the opposition go and whisper to the people, y'all come off the streets. Everything going to be all right. Y'all come off the streets. Everything going to be all right. Y'all playing pussycat politics. And I'm talking directly to the opposition politicians. Y'all playing pussycat politics with the people. Meanwhile, the people now ain't care because they see the opposition politicians, most of them don't give a rat's whatever. They just don't care. So you could blame the people when the people decide not to care too. I'm not saying that the people should have that attitude. I'm saying that if the politicians don't have the guts or the BALLS to represent you, that if the politicians are afraid of being locked up for 30 minutes or arrested and detained, sit on a bench for 30 minutes and come out and feel like that's a big deal. They're afraid of those things. So don't expect them to go out and represent you, man. But sometimes I get so fed up. But even as we speak, this is how they're operating right now in Guyana. This is what they more would gravitate towards because the politicians have let them down all across the board. This is what they do now.
Skin wasn't finished while y'all go away.
No, that's not a protest, you know. That's hundreds of people. And excuse the language there, since we're not on radio. Hundreds of people. This is what they're doing, not protesting. All right, hundreds of people, and that's exactly the priority of people in Guyana. The priority of people in Guyana. Meanwhile, what else is there to talk about? Poor representation from the opposition. Poor. Very poor representation. I gotta go. I really have to go. Poor representation. My heart goes out to the people. Sorry, my heart goes out to the people at Liverpool Village under quarantine, Alnis Village under quarantine, and throughout Guyana who are feeling the squeeze. This is what the people in Liverpool Village currently have to face.
Morning.
All right, continue to pray for Guyana, as they say. Continue to pray. Do nothing else but just pray, and then everything will just wash away like that, right? I don't know. And for those opposition MPs, continue to go live on your Facebook page and do up your hair, do up yourself. Fix your lipstick, fix your tie, shout, do all manner of things. Just do it, and maybe that's their form of representation. Maybe that's all they know. Poor leadership across the board. Poor leadership, not just in the regime, but in the opposition as well. Gotta go. God bless you guys. See you later tonight, hopefully.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame. What a travesty. It calls for us to think and think deep. The stage we are in as a country is not a stage where you become an onlooker. You have become an onlooker for too long. You must get ready to put your hands to the plow and be part of the process. It's not just about PVC, carry PVC. You must be in the kitchen where it is being determined. You must be there where the decisions are being made. If we are there in our numbers, they cannot outnumber us. But you leave it aloof. Oh, no, it's too dirty. It's a dirty game. And then the dirty guy is getting to the game of play. And you are there not showing up. And when they begin to make the decisions, you will know whether it's a dirty game or not. The result is always dirty on yours. Dirty on your health. Dirty on your business. Dirty on your success and your career. I hope that is stirring up something in you.
Pressure boss pipe. Pressure boss pipe, boy. Umaninja, Guyana de underwater. Oh, on the wrong. Sorry. Umaninja, Guyana de under pressure. Walk. Bangamere is $400 pong. Trout $400 pong. Oh, you go buy that sell back by. I just come and tell a boy, be some buy me little fish and mix with me little crab and sell. Thing that just raise, thing just double, the price just double. Oh, bad no. What you could do now? You don't squeeze out the juice for the Guyanese people. The beer hawks left, what you gonna do with the orange? We can't eat the fucking hawks that guy. Pressure boss pipe, partner, pressure boss pipe. When you put up a fucking 20,000 this week, next week you put up a 10,000, other week you put up a fucking 15,000 end of the month, you gotta still borrow on 20,000, but somebody will pay the bill. Right now, like water bill, more dear on light bill. And then all, if you get cut off, me a walk little crab. Now crab, man, is walk little crab, that's it. Me a do business, me gotta pay commercial. On 7.5, you gotta pay 15,000, but just put a man. Nah, nonsense, man. Me the people try rob you back your back, them a rob you in front of your face. Now look, the goods gone. What I'm gonna do here, buddy? Light bill, phone bill, NIS, tax, ration. Look, thing that raised $2 more. Everything is just double all the time. People got dead of Guyana. And Guyanese strong. Not mind that set up. Them a take that stay easy. Oh, partner, you hard. You need to do some adjustment. People got to live. I mean, everything here, gold, diamond, everything think about right here. And I these are suffer. People can buy them, yes, but if they don't get the money, they're going to get it.
Look, how much is the nice crab?
You got 7,000, 10. You got 7,000, 10,000, 5,000. So pressure was pipe, partner. Pressure really is something that adjust. People got dead here.
Making the short video for send to you and the viewers and listeners. All know we punishing in Guyana. Punishing. Rice gone up, sugar gone up, flour gone up, cost of living just gone up, gas gone up from 3,400 to 3,800. Real hungry days under this installed PPP government. Real hungry days we gone back to. Guyanese? Oh! Real hungry days, real hungry days.
Right about now, I'm living in Guyana right about now. I aim in Guyana no more. I think I gonna go and get me visa and I gonna fly out and I gonna go to Bormis and I gonna relax myself because I aim in Guyana no more. I aim in Guyana. I gotta go Bormis. I fly now go Bormis. Things cheap there.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you, so call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.